So, organic content for 2026, session 3, volume is the answer in today's call, which is volume. In everything that we do in business, in every single aspect in business, volume is the solution to growth. So, for me, if I want to build my business, I've got to sell more books to get more appointments, more leads, more volume is the solution to business growth. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Everybody's note taker coming in and messaging us like crazy. Glad to see you guys all in the group. We are going to dive in and get started on our third and, for now, final series in our organic content. And that's going to include me creating a couple of videos for you live today. And so I will be creating 2 live examples of content that we can share so that you guys can see my exact process, my exact thought process, my exact thinking, and how I actually create content. I'll do a long form to short form video, and I will also do a reaction video for you guys to see my thought process on reaction videos also. So without getting much further into it, I'm going to get the PowerPoint set up, and then we're going to dive into our lesson today. So organic content for 2026, session 3, volume is the answer. And Josh really kicked this off for me this week. He brought up some talking points about volume, and it really got me thinking about today. And so first thing I want to do is go over some wins, guys. So why don't you guys go ahead and unmute anybody that has a win. I would love to hear about some wins this week. If anybody has a win worth mentioning.
Go ahead, Jeff. You can roll with it.
Yeah, so we finally got our first paid ad on Facebook put up. That was a big hurdle for us. I know a lot of people probably do them all the time, but we don't. I got Gary to record a couple of videos we did a 250, America's 250 anniversary $250 concealed carry promotion, so they can schedule from now until the end of the year, but they have to do it within this 2 weeks that we're running the promotion. And like I said, a big deal for us was getting, video ads created so that way we could post them, and we jumped all those hurdles, got all that done. And our first one was doing okay. Our click-through rate on it is like 5.4 or something like that. But we weren't getting that many conversions. So I asked Gary to film me another one. He did one in the car while he was driving. We didn't do a bunch of takes because all these videos that we were working on for the ads, we were doing all these takes and they just weren't coming out right. So when we did them, he just took one take on the first one. He took one take on the other one, ran through CapCut, did some edits and some text, and just in one day we already have another sign up. We're getting a higher click-through rate, which is like 6.7 or something like that, which I know according to your videos, Andy, is higher than what we want to be at. I mean, it's good. High is good, but I know the goal was about 4. So we're doing pretty good, and a lot of people are watching the video all the way through. So
Congratulations. That's really exciting. Getting your first video off the ground, it's almost a leap of faith. And it sounds like it is paying off in a great way here. So keep us apprised of that win. Congratulations. What other wins do we have here, guys?
So I'd have to say I've had a lot of big wins. And just to get you an update, I talked to JB briefly as his breakfast was being brought in this morning. And so the bleeding stopped and he should be able to get out today. But it was a hard week. But I have to say we've been, working together on getting our first Facebook ad campaign going. And one of the big things that Jim threw back in my lap, and thank you, because with his guidance, I wouldn't be as knowledgeable and stuff as I am today. And everything worked out the way it was supposed to. But I finished editing 22 pages of the guide last night. I need a little bit of help with Jim this morning. We got it all into a zip file on that, and I sent him the link. So we're a go with that. And I just want to say last week's training where you went through what you did with the videos, it gave me a whole new perspective of how I film on the range. Hi, I'm Glenda. I'm a recovering perfectionist, and that's a really hard one to get over because I think I have to stop and start in between my takes. And I just said, nope, I'm just keeping the camera rolling. I know how to edit. And we had 2 days of 7 shooters on the range. So I got CEO, doing a lot of teaching and that, but on Tuesday and Wednesday we had a couple on Monday for a private tutorial, and Tuesday we had a single as that. So I was really able to get a lot of really good video that now I can go back and edit and have a lot of great ideas. So thank you for that from last week. Now that I've got the guide behind me, I can sit down and focus on creating some videos.
Fantastic, Glenda. There's nothing that makes me more excited than seeing the skill set in this group growing and pushing you beyond your comfort zone. You know, what you just mentioned is beyond your comfort zone, going from feeling like you need to be perfect all the way to, you know what, I can edit. What a great example. This is exactly where I want you guys to be. And Gary and Jeff, the same thing, man. So excited about your guys' skill set. All right, let's do one more win before I jump into
One
content.
really
Go
quick
ahead.
thing that I learned from a mentor, another group I'm in, and her main thing that has stuck with me, and I use it on the range all the time, is progress, not perfection. And I have to keep reminding myself about that, but that is huge.
And I agree with that 100%. My phrase is perfection prevents progress. And, you know, there are often times like I pushed out, I think you guys probably saw it, a text message on NSSF's behalf. I got the tag wrong on the name, right? So like it was imperfect. But you know what? A ton of people signed up for it, right? The amount of times that I've launched a new funnel and I realized there's a typo somewhere on it. But you know what? I launched the funnel, right? So, you know, perfection prevents progress and we need to move forward. I completely agree with you. I'm really proud of you for that. Haley says progress is a process. That's perfect also, Haley. Thanks for jumping in there. All right, so we're going to jump in again. Wins. Thank you guys for sharing those wins. And in fact, I'm going to share with a different layout in case anybody wants to take pictures today. Okay. So here we go. 7-day challenge check-in. I want to know, guys, and you guys can either unmute or you can comment below. How many videos have you published in the last 7 days? And which one performed best? Did you use the framework? And what's your excuse if you didn't? I'm being a little bold there. What is your excuse if you didn't? Okay, so whether you want to jump in the chat or you want to unmute, I want to hear from you guys.
So we did do all 7 days. Thank you to those that did like and comment on meatloafs. That actually got us the best, other than the assault weapon and mag ban video that we did. I actually have 3 going out today, 1 from the challenge last week, and then 2 updates with the assault weapon and mag ban with the timeline on people being able to purchase. 1 just went out now, another one's going out in an hour. But yes, meatloafs probably did the best.
That was
Which
a great
another one
video.
will actually go out probably this weekend or early next week on him. I got some videos of him running around in his little uniform.
That is phenomenal. I love it. I'm glad to hear it. All right. And who else? I just saw Adrian, maybe somebody else on mute. So was April the only one that accomplished the 7-day task? What about Shawnee? Shawnee, did you rock it?
I believe I did. I usually post every day. I believe I did.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
I think I got my new followers slowed. I was getting like 200 new followers a week. Oh, I guess I'm on track. Yeah. New followers. I think I'm on track. Yes. Disregard. I didn't look. I'm not sure.
But in general, you're getting 200 new followers a week. Is that correct?
Yeah. In general, the reels, like my lifestyle reels and my like good funny reels or whatever, still 2A adjacent. Those are getting the followers and getting the saves and everything like that. And then more people are seeing, the business ones I want them to see. But definitely the ones that are more entertaining are getting the followers.
I could 100% agree with that. And that's my strategy too, Shawnee, is that I publish like the reaction videos, which you'll see today how I do that. And those get millions of views and get the followers. But then my business content or my instructor content is kind of the content that makes me money that I create in between those big ones. So I'm doing the same thing you're doing, Shawnee. I'm creating content that's entertaining and engaging. And then that's causing more people to see my content that will eventually make me money. So I agree with you there. Yep. Good. So 7-day challenge, guys. Last week, 2 weeks ago, I challenged you to make 1 video a day over the next 7 days. I reaffirmed and doubled down on that. And as a quick recap of the framework that I gave you, we want each video to have a hook that stops the scroll. It's the first 3 seconds. And we went over last week that there's 2 different types of hooks. There's visual hooks and there's content hooks. Then the story builds tension and keeps them watching. And then the peak has them at the edge of their seat. It's the moment that it all builds to. It's like the climax and then the reward, which is what makes them follow you. If they got the reward they needed from their video, they're going to hit the follow button. They're going to hit share, whether that's a lesson, a laugh, a feeling, a transformation. So I want you to, in every video, I want you to ask yourself, like, what would someone walk away with? right? And so it's hook, story, peak, and reward. And so again, hook is the extreme close up of the gun. We gave an example last week of a video that did 1 million views. It's just me helping somebody on the range. I think it was Yuri, who's should be in this call today. And it starts with a close up of the gun, right? I didn't have an intro. I didn't say, "Hey guys, this is Andy." I didn't say, "Hey, I'm a firearm instructor." It just started with the gun. And the story was, so the hook was the close up, and if your shots keep missing, your trigger press could be the problem. That's really the hook. And then the story was the live demonstration, the slow trigger pull, the target coming home. The peak was the target coming back. And then the reward was, it was the best shot she had the whole time. And so our students or our viewers learned something in real time. So the reaction videos that I do, and Shawnee was just mentioning also, this is one of the highest performing content types that I do on Facebook and Instagram. So basically what I do is I'm just scrolling through my news feed. And as I'm going through my news feed, a video that I see stands out to me. And it's usually a gun-related video. And I typically don't do anything with aggression in it. So I typically do firearm safety-related videos rather than self-defense related videos, typically. If it's a very clean self-defense video or something that we can learn a lesson from, I'll do that. But typically I want to stay, and this is just a content preference. It's not about community guidelines or, Facebook taking down the video. It's just that I want to be as wholesome, family-oriented content as I can. And so I typically like to find videos that are not, if it has cussing, I'll make a judgment call in it. Sometimes I'll bleep it out. Sometimes I won't. But typically I want to be as family friendly as possible. But I'll find a video that my audience would have a reaction to, especially if I reacted to it. And then, there's two versions of reaction content. There's reaction on camera, like as you're watching it. And then there's a hook. And what I do is I create a hook. And what I do is find that video like something controversial, surprising, wrong, inspiring. I download the video, I record it with a quick hook. And then the reward is they follow you because of the content. Okay. And so what I do as I'm scrolling through, and this is something like, I don't sit down and say, I'm going to work on organic content right now. I'm literally just scrolling through Instagram as I'm waiting for a video to upload, or as I'm waiting for somebody to join Zoom, or just in between calls or whatever. I spend 5 minutes on Instagram and I find a video. If I don't have time to do the reaction right then, I email the video to myself, and then I take action when I have time. Okay. Typically, I like to make videos between 6 and 7 a.m. I spend an hour making videos, and that's typically my process because I want you to, one of the lessons today is that we get into a routine. We get into a habit of creating this content. So I did email myself this video earlier in the week. Okay. So this is the video that I emailed myself earlier in the week. Take a look. Now, I don't know if it's coming through properly, but this guy is prone, shooting at targets in front of him. And these guys are just shooting into the ground right next to him. And the reaction that I'm seeing on all of your guys' faces right now is the same reaction I imagine people at home are going to react to. And so what I am going to do is I am going to record my quick intro so that you guys can actually see what I do here. Would you take this firearm training class? So that literally is my intro. Okay. So what happens is I have Google Photos set up on my phone here. And so when I create a video, Google Photos kicks in and it literally uploads that video as it's called a backup. And so as I film that, like I don't have to do any transferring. I don't have to do anything. Google Photos is doing this for me. And so you guys can see that Google Photos just uploaded that video. So all I have to do is go to photos.video.com, and I'll share that here on my computer. So this is Google Photos, and it's just showing my most recent photos. What I did was I clicked on the video that was automatically uploaded, so I didn't have to transfer any files to my computer. I didn't have to do anything, that takes me a long time. I right click up here, I hit download, and now that video is on my computer. Then for the Instagram reel, I have to grab that link, and then I'll just literally go to Google and I'll type in download Instagram videos. So then you have a bunch of options here. I choose the first option, and I paste my link. Now we have to be really, really careful on these free downloaders because everything that you click is going to install spyware, right? So if you look here, this download button is actually spyware. That's not the button that we need. So what we need to do is be very, very careful. I'm going to minimize this ad. I'm going to hit close right here, and I'm going to look for my ad. Now, there was a problem with that, so I'm going to see if I can get it again. I'm going to hit close on this ad. I'm just like avoiding ads. So finally, the video is showing up, and I'm going to hit download right here. So then again, another ad pops up. I'm going to hit close. We got to be, the reason that these free websites work is because they're getting money from the ads, right? So don't click the ad. Everything that you see, except for the one right below the video, is spyware and you don't want it. So now I'm coming into, now I'm using Premiere, okay? I'm just fast in Premiere. I don't use CapCut. And for everybody watching, is Premiere showing okay? So I go to new project. I'm going to type this one as can't believe it and hit create. So now for me, I'm going to take the video that I just downloaded from Instagram. I'm going to put it on my timeline. And I'm going to take the video that I made, my hook, and I'm going to pop it in. Now, I'm going to move things around on the timeline a little bit more, including you can see that the sequence needs to be changed. So I'm going to change the size of the video to 1080 by 1080. Now, you can do that in CapCut also, but a lot of people make 1080 by 1920. I have been in the habit for these reaction videos of 1080 by 1080 so that I have a square instead of a story. And so what I'm doing here is I'm moving my reaction video, my intro, from the center over to the left. Because what I'm looking for is I want that visual hook. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for a part in the video that gives me a good visual hook. Maybe I can make it look like this guy is holding a gun and almost point. Yeah, there we go. Right. So now I'm going to right click on the sequence. And what I'm going to do is it's called in Premiere, insert frame hold segment. It's basically like a screenshot. So I'm going to take that frame hold segment and I'm going to pop it on top of my video over here so that my videos are side by side. Now I'm moving it over to the right and I'm going to zoom in. And then what I also like to do is I like to add, in fact, I need to crop it on the left a little bit so that I can fit this. And then sometimes what I like to do is add an arrow. In this one, I don't even think I need to. But if you look at my timeline, I've got a whole bunch of dead space before my hook, right? So if we're looking at my hook, watch this dead space. So all the way up to 1 second long, we've got dead space. So I'm removing that dead space. I'm bringing it back. And now I've got my hook. And this is my visual hook on the right. And this is my audio hook down below.
Would you take this firearm training class?
Then I look down in the camera, which was a mistake. So I'm going to cut a little bit of that out. And then I'm going to grab the rest of the clip, bring it over. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to zoom the clip in, and then I'm going to look at my final product.
Would you take this firearm training class?
Now, I want my clips to be a little bit over 14 seconds. I don't need it any longer than this. So all of that at the end is deleted. The reason is monetization on Facebook happens at the 14-second mark. And I want to make the video as short as I have to get the lesson across, which is pretty much this. So now I'm going to call this Crazy Town, and I'm going to export it. Now this exporting is looking funky. So this is really, really weird why it's exporting in that format here. Oh, that's why it's full HD. We're going to export as 1080 by 1080. There it is. Okay. So I'm exporting the video. Done. Video's exported. Now, I'm going to come over just for this example. I'm going to actually publish this from the Facebook Ads Manager. In fact, I'm going to do it from Momentum HQ. So we're in Momentum HQ. I'm coming over to marketing and I'm going to hit new post, create new post. From here, I'm going to choose the accounts. I'm just going to do the Annie Hallinan account, the Andy the Gun Guy account, and I'll put it on, I guess I don't have my second YouTube account. So would you take this gun training class? So I'm asking a question to elicit responses. I'm going to upload my video, which is Crazy Town, and my work is done. So I'm going to post this as a reel. In fact, I have to do it in the feed here because I did 1080 by 1080. I'm going to look at my warning, which is watermark stuff. Good. So I'm going to go ahead and post it right now. By the end of this call, I'm going to look into it. And my goal is to have, let's say, 1,000 views before the end of this call. But that's how easy it is to create a reaction video. Okay. So literally on the call, I did this reaction video. Had I been doing it myself, it would have taken me 10 minutes. Right? Literally less than 10 minutes. And so that is how easy it is to do a reaction video. And so when we talk about creating one video a day, that's how easy it can be, is that amount of time for one video a day. That's it. And the faster you do it, the more you put in the reps, the faster your video production is going to be. So that brings me to the next point that I want to make in today's call, which is volume. In everything that we do in business, in every single aspect in business, volume is the solution to growth. So for me, if I want to build my business, I've got to sell more books to get more appointments, more leads, more volume is the solution to business growth. And so if you don't have a ton of money to put into volume on ads, on paid ads, keep your budget on paid ads low, but keep your time investment in volume large. Alex Hormozy says it best. He says, do so much volume that it would be unreasonable for you to fail. Volume negates luck, because we can't predict when a video goes viral or not. That video that I just did, like, we all are amazed by it, but it may not go viral, or it may do, right? But we don't know. So producing more videos means we are more likely to go viral because we're producing more content, because we cannot predict which video goes viral. In fact, I posted 3 videos like just the other day, and I thought it was going to get 1 million views. I'm at like 1,100 views, right? We can't predict which class is going to fill up. We can't predict which ad converts, but we can guarantee that if we do enough of these things, one will. So volume is the solution to business growth. The businesses that grow are the ones doing the most volume. Classes aren't filling up. We need more outreach, more ads, more content, more ad spend. Videos not getting views. We need more videos, more hooks, more reps. Not enough followers. We need more content, more value, more consistency. So what volume looks like, I'm producing 15 videos a day right now. My team is producing 8, 16, I don't know, 24 to 32 videos a day is what they're making. And we're publishing at least 15 a day. Most of those videos get 100 to 300 views, but 300 views is a classroom that I didn't need to fill. And every once in a while we go into the millions. So the only way to find the winner is to keep publishing. It's to keep publishing. So I want you to start where you are. Don't start with 15 videos a day. Start with 1, then 2, then more from there. The habit, what I want you to get into is the habit being the goal. Volume is the result of the habit. I want you to build the content habit. So I want you to record something every single day. Every single day, your camera should record something. And just like we mentioned, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be long. It just has to exist. Record, edit, publish, and repeat. And I want you to support each other, right? I want every warrior in this group to follow every other warrior in the group. So far, I've only seen a few people posting their channels in the general chat. I want you guys to post your channel in the general chat so that you guys can all follow each other. And when you see their content, stop scrolling, like it, comment on it, share it. Engagement tells the algorithm to push it further. We grow together or we don't grow at all. We're in this together. And this is one of the big things that we can do, is network with each other and support each other. So if you haven't yet, go in the general chat and publish your social links so we all can follow each other. And so the final challenge is volume. Over the next 30 days, I want you to publish 1 video every day for 30 days using the framework that I provided. And I want you to post it to Slack when you publish so that we all can go engage with it. We're watching, we're commenting, so that 30 days from now, you're not going to be able to recognize your results. And that said, I'm going to make one more video here before we go to questions. And what I'm going to show is I'm going to show Submagic so that you guys can see what happens on Submagic. Now, what I have done in advance of today, I uploaded last week's coaching call into Submagic's Magic Clip Editor so that it creates it into smaller reels. And so I did that before the call. So the dopamine hit is the same reasons that slot machines work, or I've got a pinball machine here in my office, right? This works. Okay, this works. So here's the hook. So the dopamine hit is the same reasons that slot machines work, or I've got a pinball machine here in my office, right? Every time I'm on this pinball machine, of course it's Star Wars, right? All the lights and the flashing and the ball flying, right? It's the same reason that I love that pinball machine, is that it's producing these dopamine hits all the time. So okay, so this can be a video on dopamine. So dopamine hits in the business world. So I'm going to trim this video down, and it's pretty long. So here I am. What I've done here is I've just hit this trim video button at the top. So I'm going to trim the video down. I don't need it to be that long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the section in my video that I want, and then I'm going to start removing the stuff that I don't want. So I'm just removing lines that I don't want, and removing lines that I don't want, continuing to remove lines that I don't want. So basically so the dopamine hits are the reason. So most videos, okay, right here. So this is what I don't want, okay? I don't want any of these clips. This is just too long. Now, all I need to do now is, because the video is not great at what's being seen, I need to go ahead and edit the scenes. So I'm going to use this button to edit scenes. And remember, this one's submagic.io, so that we can easily build videos in Submagic using, taking our long form content and publishing it here. Now, this is long form content of, me teaching a Zoom class, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some B-roll. So B-roll, I'm going to go to premium, and I'll just go ahead and grab this. Then I'm going to add B-roll of a pinball machine. Boom. And then I'm going to add B-roll of another pinball machine. Maybe this one, right? And now this is how this video is coming out. So the dopamine hit is the same reasons that slot machines work, or I've got a pinball machine here in my office, right? Every time I'm on this pinball machine, of course it's Star Wars, right? All the lights and the flashing and the ball flying, right? It's the same reason. Right? So now I can create a piece of content that I can export because I'm using the tools inside of Submagic. When it's time to export, I'm going to just go back to my captions here. And once I'm on my captions, I'm going to go to caption style here, and I'm going to move the captions down a little bit so that it's not over the faces. And then when I'm ready, I can hit export. It's going to export the video. I can download it, and I can publish it just the way that I did before. And that's how simple this is. Okay. So at this point, guys, we are a little bit early for questions, but again, I have the video team on here. I want you guys to answer, ask as many questions as you have about content and volume, or anything else related to growth. Gary,
to say something, I got a whole bunch of videos. I wind up, every time I try to post them on Warrior Management website, it just sits and spins, and I can't load it. And then I'll come back later, then it's there. So then if I can't do that, then I just regularly post them on Facebook. And I do that all the time. I post every day, 2-3 times a day.
Good.
And my biggest thing for the last 2 weeks has been my Instagram up and my TikTok up. I did a banger on TikTok and for me, 1,000 views is a lot because I'm just starting. And I did one. And I'm back to getting gun friendly because I was doing all kind of crazy stuff. But every time I post anything on Facebook, I'm getting slammed if it even looks like a gun. And
when you say slammed, I'd like to understand what you mean.
I keep getting these warnings and then I'm always having to justify what I'm doing. And then they say, we're not going to spread it. And it's just been crazy lately.
Are you talking about the one that says we're not recommending your page?
Yes.
This is a bug. I want everybody, I say this a lot. This is a bug. It's not real. It's not real. They're not recommending your page. It's a bug They said they were going to roll out an update the first quarter of 2026, but they didn't. It's a bug. You're not being recommended.
Well, thank you for saying that, because that's just been, I had a full head of hair when I started this, and now this is what I'm looking at. Maybe I can get it to grow back. Thank
No,
you.
we all get those notifications a lot, and yeah, it's not anything to do with guns. It is a bug.
Thank you.
Yeah, and honestly, so my pages that don't deal with firearms, are getting the same bug. Yep. So, and this will not change, right? Not, at least not in the near future. TikTok is still the easiest platform to grow on, but it is the most censored. Way more censored than Instagram or Facebook. Way less options for communicating with them if your pages do get banned. I was up to 50,000 followers with my TikTok account and they banned me overnight. Like, yeah, TikTok is the hardest one for you to build a long-term audience with, but the easiest one to win in the short term. So the reason that I suggest you guys don't even spend any time on TikTok is it's going to kill your morale, because you're going to get a following, they're going to ban you, and then you're not going to want to do anything else, right? Like, it's just a kick in the teeth when they do ban you. And it's going to be hard for you to get back into the swing of things, because you'll see so much growth that's just ripped out from under you. And so if you do TikTok, the number one thing is you have to be really, really careful on content. Shawnee says, I post to a lifestyle that I post on Instagram, no guns. Yeah, you can, but I have found that even talking about the Second Amendment, like I showed no guns in any of my TikTok videos, but it's because I was talking about the Second Amendment that got me banned. And I have built several TikTok accounts, and anything where I talk about the Second Amendment or firearms or training or anything like that, even not showing guns, has gotten me banned several times. So I actually deleted TikTok. I uninstalled it, and until they turn that around, I'm going to try that. I do appeal all of it to Shawnee. Shawnee says that she appeals it and they overturn it. So far, so good once she changes up. I appealed mine too. Like, when I had the 50,000 follower ban, I appealed it like for weeks, and was hopeful that I could get the account back, but I never could. So they're just super, super, super sensitive. So that said, Facebook is still the one that makes the most money. Instagram, of the three, is the hardest to win, and Instagram also has the most haters. But I feel like the Instagram followers are also much more loyal, if that makes sense. So it's harder to build, more haters, but once you do build that audience, it's really effective to reach them, because they are loyal once you get past the haters. Facebook is still the one that makes money, though. Okay, so and that's not going to change in the future, right? People think Facebook is dead, the growth is stalling. No. It's like, compared to the other platforms, it's a behemoth, and the monetization is there. So my recommendation is 100% Facebook. All right, what other questions do we have there? So, Gary, to answer your question about the video spinning, when you export, you want to check your exporting settings. Use ChatGPT to put your export settings screenshots, like screenshot your export settings, send it to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will help you make your export smaller. I just uploaded a 41 megabyte video in like 4 seconds, but my internet's really fast. 41 megabytes for that length of video, 14 seconds, was way too big. It was way too big. So I should have changed my export settings to not be this giant 41 megabyte video, but I didn't, just because we were here on the call. So I just do recommend you, though, is on your export settings to take a look and go through ChatGPT with them, so that you can minimize the size of the video that you need for this. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'll check that, because I'm sure Jim's sitting back there saying that I'm still on dial-up. So yeah, that's the way he is with me. Yeah, that's good. I'll try that.
I
Yeah,
heard
will.
that. I heard that, Gary.
All right. What other questions, guys?
So I just had a quick comment, and it's like, now that I've got all this behind me and JB will get home and stuff, I'm going to focus on the videos, and I have a lot of content that I can use. But I do post every night before I go to bed, 2 posts. One, my gratitudes for the day, and one, how I moved my body. And I do not go to bed that night until I do that. And I've done that, one of them over 900 days. So it's getting in the habit. The other thing is, sometimes I always put a picture, or a lot of times a video. It's more just personal stuff, but you never know what, like you said, what's going to hit somebody's button. I'm not above exploiting Bullet, because he's a great one for that. And then I remember, if anybody knows Clint Smith with Thunder Ranch, one thing that he told us one of the times when we were in class, the highest likes and reactions he got had nothing to do with Thunder Ranch had nothing to do with firearms, but the baby ducks in his pond. So kind of, think outside the box.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Lifestyle and things like that, like the meatloaf video. Exactly right. I saw David unmute also.
Yeah, had a quick question about the new law implementation here in Colorado and how we might be able to deal with that whole new reality of getting people in, because that's a 12-hour class. I haven't been able to get on any of the Department of Wildlife calls who's supposed to be managing this new 12-hour requirement just to purchase a gun.
So it's going to go away. It's
And
not going to.
I think it will too. We just haven't gotten the that emergency injunction yet. So, but that starts on August 1st.
Yeah. So a couple of things that you can do. Number one, you can monetize this with content. Okay.
Mhm.
So I learned this lesson when my gun store was broken into in 2016. I realized that I was going to be out of business for like 2 weeks, and I needed to make sure that I turned lemon into lemonade. And what I did before the cops told me not to, right? I knew the cops would tell me not to. I published the security footage from my cameras, and I created a lead magnet for people to continue to follow along and get updates on the break-in and any progress. And so I generated as many email addresses as I possibly could in that time, which is ultimately what kept me afloat as a business, is because I was able to see that, this was a problem and I needed to roll with the punches. So ever since then, whenever something has happened in the news media or current events, I've done my best to do the same, where I'm monetizing and capitalizing on bad things that are happening and turning them into good things, right? So number one, the easiest win for you to do is to create content surrounding this. So become an expert, understand the law, read the actual law, read the fine print, and then make small videos less than a minute long about the updates. Okay. Walking your dog, whatever it is, right? Just like quick updates. The next step of skill is to create emails behind that, right? So you can create a petition on Momentum HQ. And the petition is, hey, if you don't want to have to take a 12-hour class in Colorado just to buy a gun, enter your name, email, and phone number, sign the petition saying that you oppose this. At that point, you've just gotten people's name, email, and phone number who are Second Amendment supporters. And that is also something for you to publish on social media and run paid ads behind, right? And then as far as the training goes for this 12-hour class, you need to read and understand the law to understand what is available to you. But what I would do is start Monday night sessions where you are training people in 6 Monday night sessions to accomplish this 12-hour class, or make it 2 6-hour sessions, right? But that's even harder for people. Like if it's 2 hours over 8 weeks, or 2 hours over 4 weeks, rather, 2 hours over 6 weeks, they are much more apt to take action than if it's like 12-hour class in one day. That's a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Working 12-hour shifts for the sheriff's office, which actually turn sometimes into 13 to 16 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. And where are you at in Colorado again?
Just a little northeast of Denver.
Okay. Next time we get out there, we're going to have to do lunch.
Yeah. And I'm almost complete the whole that curriculum I talked about, where I converted the federal use of force model into a concealed carrier self-defense use of force model.
Good.
So
that's exciting.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. So that's what I would do is I would the easiest thing to do is just get content and followers and views with it. But the next best thing, right? It's a little bit more difficult, but make yourself a petition, capture their name, email, and phone number, send them an automatic email, and get them in your email list. Like use this time to do that.
Great.
Ken says, I'm not clear what monetizing means. What I mean by that, Ken, is any way that we can earn money off of this situation, right? So if it's a situation, how do we make money with it? We, of course, oppose any new legislation that interferes with the Second Amendment. Of course, we oppose it, and we will do everything in our power to make sure it doesn't pass. However, if it does pass, we're going to monetize it. Or if it's about to pass, we're going to monetize it. Or if it's people are thinking about passing, we're going to monetize it, right? We're going to use it for our gain in our business while we oppose it, right? So we're going to oppose it in a way that benefits us in our business, like generating emails or video views or followers. So what I mean by monetization is just any way that you can use this event to benefit your business and advance the Second Amendment. That's what I mean by monetize. Great. What other questions do we have, guys? Ken says, great last name. All right. Adrian says, I'm not the face of my brand. Nobody even knows I own the company. Should I see if my team can make the videos? I hate to ask them to do more things, but my instructor probably wouldn't mind. Okay. So number one is when your instructor is in the class, you 100% need to have cameras on him and the audience at the same time. Okay. So one camera on him and one camera on the audience, like at minimum, so that you can take those videos and edit those videos together and get those out there. So that's number one. Number two is I have spoken to some business owners that don't want to be on social media. They don't want to be the face of the brand. And I understand that. I can totally get that. But I also want to tell you that Josh said the same thing. I don't want to be the face of the brand. I don't want to be on videos. I don't want to have to be in a classroom. And now he does all of those things and he does it really, really, really well. So I would challenge you that when we're talking about the game of volume, the answer is and, not or. So it's not, do I need to do it or does my team need to do it? It is and. I highly recommend you do and. So you do it and your team does it so that you can produce as much content as you possibly can. But at the very minimum, you absolutely need to have your team being recording the classes. And I know that it's kind of a challenge because we now need to ask them to do more. But when they start seeing the fruit of their labor and they start seeing the results on social media, it's going to be addicting for them.
Okay, that's helpful. I missed a couple of the sessions, so I need to go back. That's why I haven't even been doing the challenge. But I need to go back and like watch everything and
They are in the vault. Yep.
yeah, I think like the ones you've mentioned where you're like seeing other people's videos and kind of just like commentating on it or whatever.
Reaction.
I think I
Yep.
could
Yep.
certainly do that, but obviously I'm not even in the, I'm not even at location most of the time, So, but I think if I told my team, I think Nick would love being on camera.
Yeah.
He would like love that. So I think if I was like, hey, if I get you a tripod, can you just like randomly record throughout the day? I think I could probably get him to do something
Yeah,
like that.
and what I recommend is for you to meet with Jim. Jim can help further explain what tools you can use, but literally a cell phone and we went over this, I think, in call one, a cell phone and a gimbal camera that follows people around. So it's like turning while he's turning. It's like $150 at Best Buy. Also a microphone, also like $150 at Best Buy. So for like $300, the guy uses his cell phone and, has an amazing setup to record in class. But the reason I want your audience recorded also is because when they're asking questions, that's some of the best content you can produce. When they're asking a question about anything, that's some of the best content you can produce, because if they have that question in class, that question is going to be relevant to a lot of other people. And this should be in security training classes, concealed carry training classes, anything, right? Even security training classes. The snippets are just as effective.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Andy.
And Josh says, and yes, you can use that content for ads. Exactly. So what you use organic, you can bring directly over to ads. You just add a call to action on them.
Right. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Great questions. All right. We've got time for one more. I saw David on mute again.
Something semi-related to guns, but also reactions to here in Colorado. I had ChatGPT, I put in the parameters, but in reaction to a lot of these unconstitutional laws, I've drafted a ballot proposal measure to amend the state constitution. In Colorado, there's several years ago, they created what's called the Law Enforcement Integrity Act, which has a lot of good stuff in it, but it also took away qualified immunity for law enforcement. Well, my standpoint of that was if the legislature and the executive branches of the local governments are taking away that from their arm to enforce these unconstitutional laws, why not take away their qualified immunity? I wrote a ballot measure to do the Government Integrity Act as a response to, say, the Second Amendment stuff, but this also works for, say, First Amendment. You've seen how city council and school boards will mute and throw people out and all that. So it's not just guns, but it's a whole freedom thing. Is that something I could probably do? Because I actually sent it to an attorney who actually wanted to help get it on not this year's ballot, but next year's ballot.
Yeah,
as a response to some of this.
It's overly technical, right? So like we want something that, people just like inherently know. So just watch your language, but watch the technical language behind it. But yes, you can create that into a template. And if anybody wants a petition template, a petition snapshot added to their account, let me know. I'll have Martin add it to it. Comment in the general chat on Slack, not here on Zoom because we're about to bounce, but comment comment on the general chat and we'll install a petition template for you. And that's going to have
Okay.
the form, the actual petition, and the automation behind it. So,
Okay.
that's something that we have ready available. And we'd love to put it in your account if you want to run these types of. And petitions are great year round, right? Like I had a petition for 4 years of Joe Biden being in office, like stop the Biden administration from enacting new gun laws. And I generated email addresses for Gun Owners of America at 13 cents per email for 4 years. For 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah, I
guys.
figured that would be something I can get liberals back behind too, because of the freedom of speech
I agree.
that
Well,
aspect of when.
yeah. I mean,
Some degree.
I wish.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in this country
Good
that
luck.
only want free speech if they agree with it, and that's why the First Amendment exists, is for unpopular speech.
Yeah. And that's why the second, the first.
That's right. That's exactly right. All right, guys. This is it. Get armed, get trained, carry daily. Long live the Republic. We'll see you next week.